Lovely, 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 lovely. Now, this is, well, it was going to be for Walter Orton. Here we go. This is for Walter Orton, who thinks that I've got just for men?
Just for men hair.
Just for men hair. I've got hat hair, Walter, because I've been, on the way here, I was wearing my gentleman's hat, or as we like to say, hooligan couture, as I told the... So it's kind of made my hair go all kind of, flat hair.
I really want it.
You want my hat? There you go.
Please.
Sophie's going to wear my hat and look like a country gent. Be careful how you say that. Now, of course, yes, I am Stamford Chidge, of course, and this is the Chelsea Football Fancast. This is the lovely, beautiful Sophie Rose. You look even more beautiful with that hat.
I think I do. I think it really suits me.
And what colour eyes have you got?
I am from Devon originally.
Come here. What colour eyes have you got?
Green.
Yeah, well, there you go. So it's perfect.
You should know that.
Well, why?
We've been speaking for ages.
I know.
I haven't taken any notice what colour eyes are.
How do you know I'm not colourblind?
He wasn't looking at your eyes.
That's really not fair or true.
How inappropriate. I'm reporting.
How inappropriate,
I think.
He's a dirty old
Your mouth.
He's a dirty old man. He's a dirty old man. He's a dirty old man and a friend of mine. He is Jonathan Kidd. You are Seb. You are Dr. Mark. We are the Chelsea Fancast, and we've been a bit anarchic, I think, tonight, largely because we're a bit overexcited about the fact that we're back on air, having been away for 2 or 3 weeks. Now, one of the things I do really want to talk about, a few things happened while we were off air and away. One of them got right under my nose, skin. Choose something ruder, and then you'll kind of get where I'm coming from on this. But Scudamore, the enemy of football, basically having had his idea for the 39th game to be played overseas, quashed exactly 6-7 years ago, laughed out of sight. In fact, he was.
He should stick to riding horses, really.
He should really, shouldn't he? Yeah. But it's reared its ugly head yet again. The football conference. It was funny enough. Actually, it was at Stamford Bridge, but it was kind of rumoured to be back on the agenda.
Is this also not because of the success of the NFL at Wembley?
Well, let's get onto that in a second, Jonathan. But first of all, I think you're right. But basically, I think he's decided that the reason why the 39th game is a non-starter is because it isn't a real game. So actually, well, let's have a whole weekend of the Premier League and transport it all over the world for the fans that really count. The armchair ones in wherever they happen to be. Which is just, I'm apoplectic with rage about this. My latest CFC UK article came out on Saturday is absolutely putting the boot right into this idea. The first thing that occurs to me, though, do you think this is a ruse by Scudamore Smart? It's a classic politician's trick. Give them something that's absolutely unpalatable that they throw away, and then come back with an idea that's even more unpalatable, so they accept the first idea that was unpalatable.
Do you remember the end of the season a couple of seasons ago? We had to go over to America and play a couple of games against City.
Yeah.
That was a complete waste. None of the players wanted to be there.
No. This is different, though. What they're proposing now is to take a weekend of the Premier League fixtures. So let's say next weekend's
game.
No.
What the idea now is, for example, all the fixtures for next weekend. Yeah. They will make them all played all around the world. So they're a bona fide match.
It's insane. So what happened to the season ticket holders who bought tickets to go and watch?
Exactly.
Are they going to get compensation?
Well, exactly. What happens to the integrity of the league? Because, that means that 9 of the home teams have immediately lost home advantage.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane.
It's a mad idea.
Ruins the integrity of the league.
People always compare it.
Scudamore. I'll point him out to you, love. So next time you see him, you can kick him where it hurts. All right.
Have you bought the last fanzine?
Well, later you'll see him. Yeah, we're going to show you the fanzine later.
But everyone compares it to the NFL, but I don't want to compare it to the NFL. I want it to be football. Who cares about American football?
In American throwball.
The whole argument about the the NFL are coming over. They're playing a competitive game at Wembley every year. Yeah, but the whole argument behind, there's a lovely guy actually, and his heart's in the right place. He's from the States, and he desperately wants to see Chelsea, the team he supports, play, in his manner. If I lived in the States, I would understand that. And he came out. He wrote a very long email to the Supporters Trust, and trying to explain why he felt it was a good idea. And he went on about the NFL, but I'm afraid he's wrong. The trouble with the NFL, football in this country was invented in the 1870s. It was built around the communities, and the tribalism stems from there. Football was born in the community in this country. It is part of the fabric of this society, and that's why it's important. That's why it's different. American football is a franchise. It's always been a franchise. It doesn't matter where you come from, where they have them, because it's not tied and it's not wedded to the community. The other thing about NFL is that NFL is basically a TV sport. You know, it was huge in the colleges in the 20s, 30s, 40s. But as soon as the TV came along, they'd said, oh, hello, this is a great TV spectacle. It's all about the TV. You know, it's not about the game. It's not about the supporters. It's not about the people that go there.
Enormously.
Well, that's why a 1 hour
game relies
game
heavily on the pauses.
Yeah.
1 hour game takes 3 hours.
3 hours. Ridiculous.
There is no comparison, therefore, between what they do with NFL and what they're trying to do with our game. That's the point.
You couldn't do it here. You'd miss your last train home, wouldn't you?
But it's money.
It's money.
Entirely.
It's
what
absolute
all
blatant money.
Well, the problem is if they did do it, then if it's a success, which it probably would be, they'd go, okay, well, let's have another game there. And where do you stop? What, do you half the season there?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you where sorry, Sophie, just punch me when you get I'm really very cross about this, so I'm going to go on like a bog roll. But, you know, for me, it's the thin end of the wedge. You know, Scudamore is a vile, vile miscreant who should have absolutely no power or influence in this game. I'd run him out of town like the bad smell that he is if I was the sheriff. The thing about it is the thin end of the wedge. You know, it's like, oh, well, we'll just take one game. We'll take one game out of the weekend. It's only one game. You've got another 18. What's the problem? Yeah, first it'll be one game, then it'll be two, then it'll be three, then it'll be four. Then it'll be, I'll tell you what, let's move Chelsea to LA because we can make more money there. Let's franchise it out to LA and say, well, you don't need it in England. You can watch it all on the TV. Well, you don't have to go.
They did talk
That's
about
what's going to happen.
Wimbledon to Dublin, didn't they?
Or Milton Keynes even.
But is it the Premier League who proposed this and not the FA? Because the FA, I doubt they'll say yes to this.
FA have got absolutely no power. They couldn't stop anything. The only people who can stop it are FIFA and UEFA, and actually I think both have come out against it again, like they did the first time. I mean, just one other argument about this, because I think as I said, it's a real sop to. And as I said, if I lived in Singapore, Dubai, Australia, America, wherever, and supported Chelsea, I would be going mad for the idea of a real game going out there. And I don't blame them for that at all. But I'd just like to put this thought into your head. I mean, you know, tell Sophie if you think I'm barking up the wrong tree. But I don't think I am. If you're born and bred abroad, you know, let's just say America for sake of argument. If you're born in Chicago. And okay, fair enough. You find Chelsea, you become a Chelsea supporter, which is brilliant. More the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. But if you choose to support a team that you live, you know, 8,000 miles away from, why do you have a right for that team to go and play in your backyard? You knew this when you started to support them. Do what actually so many of the brilliant Americans that I've met who come over to Stamford Chidge once, twice, 3 or 4 times a year. They make it a real event. They save up. They have to pay a fortune to do it, but they do it. They do it willingly because they know that's where they're supposed to see it. They don't for 1 minute expect it to be played in Chicago just because it's more convenient. And for me, that's the point.
Well, even a couple of the guys who came from OC Hooligans a couple of weeks, and they decided just to go to. They went to Lisbon away.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great experience. Why would you not want that authentic experience than going to some?
I don't get it either, Soph. I really don't.
The LA Depot, whatever they call it over there.
Well, somebody said his tweet name is Chelsea in America. He says.
Oh, he said that actually might be the official. Yeah, that is.
CIA,
yeah, they're saying no. Yeah.
And Dan Banks has some really intellectual. What's the word? Conversation.
Bants, Soph. Banks.
He says if the club put on subsidised travel to New York for a tenner,
Danny boy, love it.
And then this is the best part.
I get flown over there.
This is the best part. New to NY Tours just retweeted him. So I think he's in.
Quality. Brilliant. Any more for any more?
Can I just say that'll be in New York in December?
New York.
I'm being in New York.
No, I mean, I'm not having a downer on many friends. I mean, actually, it's really interesting. That tweet from Chelsea in America, they're the official kind of supporters group in America.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, they said no. We've got a brilliant blog up on the website, chelseaffancast.com, written by the lovely Nikki Davidson, who's a great Chelsea supporter from New York, funnily enough. She's dead against it. All of the proper Chelsea supporters from America and around the world that I know that have come over here, come on the show, become mates of ours, none of them are for it because they get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Part
that's
of the fun
thing.
of going to see a game anyway is travelling away. Why would I We love going on away trips. No different for them, is it? Really?
It's an authentic experience. That is the key. Why would you want to go anywhere else
Well,
apart from the
quite.
bridge
It's
or anywhere in the UK?
I mean, it's really. I think it's Scudamore. You know, basically validating the armchair fan. You know, who he panders to. It's all about the TV experience.
It's greed.
But he forgets. Do you know what he said in August 2013?
Remind
Right,
me.
you know when they were talking about, he was moaning at the club saying you've all got to cough up more for the fans, money-wise, because we've given you all the TV money. Do you know what he said? He said, away fans are here and in England create the passion, the tension, the show. In other words, what he was saying is they are what helps sell the product. We, the supporters, help make it the spectacle that it is. He seems to have forgotten that. Yeah.
Blinking with the money, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable.
We greed beyond that.
One more point, Smart, and we move on.
Yeah. Cricket have tried this. Rugby have tried this, playing games overseas.
Yeah.
Normally cup games.
Yeah.
The only thing it could possibly work with is a cup game, not a league game, by the way.
I don't want any game going over.
Or can I just add this? The Charity Shield, the French Charity Shield, goes to China every year, or North Africa. You could easily play the Charity Shield or the Community Shield over there. Whatever, it really wouldn't matter.
Nobody goes to
I mean, just a final point on it. The one thing that I would say on this is, I mean, and I said this in the CFC UK article that's out this month, but this is the biggest threat to what we know and love in the English game in my lifetime. This is bigger than anything. This is bigger than hooliganism. This is bigger than, you know, despotic owners taking over other people's football clubs, because we've got a lovely benign one, obviously. You know, it's bigger than anything. You know, if you're a football supporter, I don't care what club you support, you need to get together and unify against this preposterous idea. Because if you don't, it's like the classic Manic Street Preachers. If you tolerate this, then your children will be next. If you tolerate this, there will be no football in this country in 20, 30 years' time. It's that serious. Okay, enough. There endeth the lesson. Right, very quick. Handshake Gate. Do you know what Handshake Gate's about?
No.
It's about Mourinho.
And the Keane. Beardy. Yeah.
Oh, Weirdy Beardy.
Weirdy Beardy.
Yeah. Do you know what I said in that? I wrote an article in this. I wrote an article in the IBT UK Sport. Some of you probably read it last week. I've compared him to an extra in Mumford and Sons. Or Captain Haddock.
I thought it was very appropriate.
I know what that is.
I think
idea what Mumford
you're doing a
and Sons is.
disservice to Captain Haddock, actually, a rather trimmed beard.
Oh, Haddock's, and he didn't have the stupid grey bits.
No, he didn't have the grey bits. I think Mumford & Sons is a very good...
Mumford and Sons.
A very good...
They were quite a diddly band as well,
Very
weren't they?
diddly.
Diddly
Diddly
If he
folky.
had long hair, he could be in ZZ
You look a
Top.
bit Mumford and Sons in that hat, though,
Oh,
mate.
I think I'm going to take it off now.
Oh, what's wrong?
everyone.
That's a beautiful hat.
It's a bit hot.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. You were moaning about being hot cold a minute ago.
Yeah, I'll have to take that one
All
off.
right. Okay. So's had enough
Much
of the
more
hat.
pretty now, see.
Okay. Right. So yeah, basically, Keane was only doing it, I think, to
Publicise the book.
flog his book. But what was really interesting is that they all waded into. I mean, you know, I don't know if this is spooky or not, but you know, Keane moaned about it a week ago last Friday. TalkSport interviewed me about it on the Friday to talk about it and caught me on the hop a bit because I didn't know much about it. I wrote a blog about it on the Monday. And then suddenly, everybody's asking Mourinho about it in the presser on the Friday. So
Even Warnock asked him about it. I think he said, make sure that you shake my hand.
I'm driving the news agenda, JK. That's what I'm saying. Chidge is driving the news agenda. But I mean, the point that I really want to talk about is this: is that I think that undoubtedly it's arrogant and it is disrespectful, and that's exactly why Mourinho does it. But I think there's a Machiavellian point going on here. You know, Lambert threw his toys out of the pram, both at Stamford Bridge last season and at Villa Park last season. Didn't like the decisions that were going against him, refused to shake Jose's hand. So I think what Jose's doing, apart from clearly disrespecting him by going up before the game's ended, but I think what he's doing is he's trying to make him shake his hand. He's kind of making it very public and obvious that I'm offering you my hand, knowing full well that they're not going to shake his hand because the game hasn't finished.
No, the game was over when we scored a third goal.
There is that. But I actually think he's doing that. I
he
think
gets
he's
the moral
offering.
high ground,
Yeah.
because if they seem to be refusing him.
I think exactly.
But all the other point is that frequently there's complete mayhem at the end of games. And you see the managers all looking round for their counterparts, occasionally not seeing them.
Yeah.
They've disappeared. You think, well, this is a perfect opportunity. There's everybody lined up. I'll shake their hand.
Well, Wenger and Rio did they?
No,
Yeah, but
they never
don't.
do.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't. They
They
don't
don't.
do it.
I mean, Wenger hates Mourinho with every pore and fibre of his body.
Excellent.
He hates him, and Mourinho has absolutely nothing but contempt for Wenger, and as have I. He's contemptible. Anyway, Right, I just want to talk about this because you mentioned this to me the other day. That brilliant interview that Gary Neville did with Mourinho that went on for about an hour and 20 minutes. It was brilliant. I don't know if you read it.
100 minutes it was.
Yeah, but there's some great things that came out of that. One of which was I'm going to read you a little piece. If you haven't read this, just go to the Telegraph online and Google Mourinho, Gary Neville. You'll find it. But there's a couple of things that came out that were brilliant. This is Mourinho on the Liverpool game. I felt during part of last season that the country wanted Liverpool. I'm not going to do the Mourinho accent. Liverpool to be champion. He starts out. The media, the press, a lot was to put Liverpool there. Nobody was saying they were in a privileged situation because they didn't play Champions League. Nobody was speaking about a lot of decisions that helped them win important and crucial points. And I felt that day was a day that was ready for their celebration. I used the word with my players. I said, we are going to be the clowns. They want us to be the clowns in the circus. The circus is here. Liverpool are to be champions. Neville interjects, you weren't having that, were you? He fixes me with a look. No. Which and then, everything he did that day was set up to. There was no way he was going to lose that game.
Even his image was set up for that as well, because he was unshaven, wasn't he?
With his hoodie.
That's right.
And that was
There was
deliberate.
an aggression
He goes into talking about that, and it was clear that he did it deliberately. It was brilliant. Yeah. The other thing that I forgot, actually, which is also very naughty, is that it was Liverpool that refused to move the game, not Sky, not the Premier League.
Yes.
Yeah,
which he resented. He resented immensely because it meant that we had a day less for the semi-final of the Champions League.
Oh yeah. Aren't they horrible? What a horrible club.
Yeah. But he's absolutely right. There was a complete media frenzy about them winning.
Yeah.
They're still very bitter about it now, aren't
the
they?
only clownish thing.
24 years.
One at a time, please.
24 years, and they messed it all up at Palace.
Yeah, exactly.
The only clownish thing that day was Gerrard's football, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. There's many a slip between cup and lip. Or something like that. The other thing that I thought was fantastic was he was reiterating that he basically wants to stay at Chelsea. For as long as they'll have him. This was the inference.
He said 20 years he wants to be a manager of possibly Portugal, so he can come back. He said and then be allowed in to watch the games. But that'll be 20 years in the future.
He won't leave.
Indeed. Unless the club get rid of him.
Yeah, he accepts that he may well get the tin tack, but every time he's gone before, he's known that he was going 6 months, a year before. It's all been kind of planned, but he said, I have no plans. I don't want to leave. I accept I'll go if I get the sack, but I
see him as the next England manager.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Mourinho.
Mourinho's the next England manager.
Well, as an England manager.
I think he'll do
Roy Hodgson.
He'll do Portugal first.
You like Roy Hodgson?
Yeah,
you like
he's
Roy?
so cute.
Can you do a Roy Hodgson impression?
No, I can't, but I do like that little video that's going around of him doing his exercises.
Yeah.
Something like this. Or maybe not like this, but something similar. It's
great.
great.
Small fish, cardboard box. Anyway, as Ross said to me. How long we got, Ross? Another minute? Lovely. The other thing that I thought that was great was he went in talking about, we talked about this earlier in the programme, but he talked about the team last year. This is quite funny, actually. It made me think of a certain few players. He said that we were mentally and tactically unstable. Who could he be talking about, I wonder? Mentally unstable. But he thought that we this season we improved footballistically. Footballistically. What a genius. So there we go. So all good stuff. Basically he went on and also kind of ripped out of managers that talk buzzwords and his tactics are all adaptable. Bottom line is go and find this article. It's one of the best articles I've seen written about Jose in recent times. And fair play to Gary Neville, actually, who, I always used to think he was a you-know-what and sang it to him many times at Stamford Chidge. But I have to say, I really learnt to love and respect Gary Neville.
He's a bright lad, isn't he?
His analytical skills are very good.
Not least because of the... Unbelievable! Anyway, on that happy note, I think we should go to a break, because after the break we're coming back with a bit of Chelsea Chatter stats and some Chelsea Sport and news. We'll be back right after the break.
Hooray.